Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about which Pakistani players would make the IPL in 2023. Now this is a hypothetical scenario as obviously Pakistani players don't play in the IPL and haven't done so since the second season, and honestly probably like not in the foreseeable future will it ever change. Pakistani players probably won't be playing in the IPL, but it is always interesting to just sort of do a little thought experiment as to looking at the current IPL players, which Pakistani players could fit in. So the way I'm going to make these assessments are I'm just going to base it off of T20 records, not T20I, so domestic T20 records, which do include T20I records, but T20 records is, I think, better to use as a comparison because this is a domestic competition, and also because some of the players I'll be making comparisons with haven't played much international T20s to begin with, so you wouldn't really have anything to compare with. Anyways, I'm going to sort of order them in probably like most likely to least likely, so let's get started. The first player is Shaheen Afridi. Looking at current IPL players, Shaheen Afridi could replace Duan Janssen, Jason Behrendorff, or his Duan Janssen's twin brother Marco Janssen at those teams. I'm not going to read them all out. But Shaheen Afridi has better bowling averages than all of the above, with better economy rate than both the Janssen twins. So over here you can see some of Shaheen Afridi's stats. As you can see, averages significantly better than at least the Janssen twins. They actually have the same bowling average too, which is a little a little odd. But yeah, only economy-wise, he's slightly worse than Jason Behrendorff, but even that is probably mostly just skewed because Shaheen Afridi has played a lot more international T20s, which is obviously a higher level. Next, we have Shalab Khan. Shalab Khan could replace Noor Ahmed or Adil Rashid. He has better bowling averages and batting averages than both the players. Noor Ahmed is actually a left-arm wrist spinner, which is a bit of a mistake on my part. But I mean, I think with the big enough discrepancy between their stats, I think most teams would probably swap the better player over the novelty factor of Noor Ahmed with the left arm wrist spin. But as you can see, Shadab Khan has better bowling stats than both of them, and he's also a genuine all-around option with good strike rate, which is probably more important down the order anyway, since he would probably come in at like 7 or 8 anyways. Anyways, next player. Oh well. Not to forget, Shalab Khan is also one of like the best fielders in the world, so that's just another bonus when it comes to Shalab Khan. Next player, Imad Wasim. Imad Wasim could replace Akil Hussain. Imad Wasim has better bowling and batting stats compared to Hussain. Imad's also one of the best spinners in the power play. He's one of the most economical spinners in general. As you can see, the bowling stats, better average by almost 1 run, and marginally better economy as well, but again, one of the big differentiating factors is just the batting stats, because Imad Wasim is also a genuine all-rounder. Batting average of 21 versus just about 16 what Akil Hussain has, and had a better strike rate as well. So I think Imad Wasim would be a definite good pick. Next is Harsh Rauf. Harsh Rauf, could replace Riley Meredith. Both are sort of like the express placers who bowl like fast, so sort of like for like replacement. And Rauf has better average and economy rate than Riley Meredith. As you can see in the stats, better bowling average by about 1, and marginally better economy as well. But one of the things is Harsh Rauf has played a lot more T20Is compared to Meredith. Meredith, I think, has only played like 3 or 4 T20s. So Harsh Rauf's T20 record is obviously skewed by playing international matches, but it's still better than Meredith. So I think Harsh Rauf is also another definite pick. Now here we come to a bit of a sort of like, I guess it'll be like a debated one, but because when it comes to like batters like Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, like strike rate is a big talking point. But again, the comparisons I've made have been based on players who are currently selected in the IPL and making substitutions based off that. So if Kane Williamson here can play with stats of a batting average of 31.5 about and strike rate of 122, I don't see why Babar Azam would not be selected when he has a significantly higher average and better strike rate as well. So even while Babar's low strike rate, it's still not lower than some of the people who have been staples in the IPL, such as Kane Williamson. So I think Babar Azam would be picked. And same goes for Mohammad Rizwan, because again, same argument, but as you can see, there are players who have basically very similar or sometimes even lower strike rates. So Rizwan could replace Lin Das. Rizwan has a higher average and a very similar strike rate. Both are wicketkeeper batsmen, who open the innings. As you can see, Rizwan has almost double the average, with a slightly worse strike rate by 2 points. I think 2 points in the strike rate is easily negated by 20 runs more in the average. Next we have Fakhr Zaman. Now Fakhr Zaman has a sort of honestly bad record in when it comes to T20 internationals, but if you look at his domestic and like other T20 league records, it's actually pretty good. And also I was surprised to see some like not that good honestly foreign talent in the IPL too. I think it's a bit of a meme, especially when it comes to Australian players, that like IPL teams really just buy up any Australian player. And I think that's the case here because Fakhr Zaman could replace Matthew Short, who plays at the Punjab Kings. Fakhr Zaman has a better batting average and a marginally worse strike rate. As you can see, Fakhr's batting average is almost sort of 4.5 runs better. And the strike rate is not even a whole point lower. And again, Fakhr Zaman has played a lot of T20Is, whereas Matthew Short, I think, hasn't even played a single international T20 game. So again, skewing Fakhr Zaman's stats. So I think based off this, Fakhr Zaman would easily be a better choice. This one and the next one are kind of like maybes, but I still think this would happen. The stats are similar enough, and Fakhr Zaman has a reputation in international cricket way more than Matthew Short does. So I think Fakhr Zaman would get a contract. And lastly, we have Mohammad Wasim or Zaman Khan. Now, to a lot of people watching, especially if you don't follow Pakistani cricket, you're probably like, who even are these people? And I wouldn't blame you. And normally, I wouldn't think that they'd bag an IPL contract at all. But the person they'd be replacing is Matisha Patirana, who's a Sri Lankan sort of slingy fast bowler, like similar action to Malinga, who's only played one T20 international, and even his domestic T20 record is not that great. As you can see, his bowling average is 31 with an economy of 8, and doesn't really have any batting prowess either. I think he's mainly just selected due to the novelty of the sort of slingy action, but both Mohammad Wasim and Zaman Khan have similar sort of slingy actions. Zaman Khan especially has straight up the horizontal arm like Malinga. As you can see, Zaman Khan has better bowling average by like almost 10 points. Slightly worse economy, but I mean, if your bowling average is that much better, I think you take that. And Mohammad Wasim also has a much better bowling average, and he's also a batting option. As you can see, averages about 17 at a strike rate of 125. And that's actually it for all the players. These are players, I think, these are Pakistani players that could potentially bag a IPL contract in this year if obviously Pakistani players were allowed. Now, that's not to say that all of these guys would just come into the IPL and just be straight into the 11s. Like, that's not my point, because I think a lot of the people they're replacing either haven't played that much, definitely not played all the games. I think the first three, like Shaheen Afridi, Shadab Khan, and Ahmad Wasim, would probably be like locks. They're definitely gonna come straight, if like obviously this would happen, they'd come into the team and straight into the 11 too. But I think for the other people, they definitely still get games. But yeah, not saying they'd be super super just like great automatic picks. But yeah, that's it. Let me know any of your opinions. I don't know, this video could be controversial. It shouldn't be, because I've just basically made substitutions based off who has better stats, and you can't really, I guess, you can't often argue with the stats, right? So yeah, anyways, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching. Bye.